Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we'll be taking a deep dive into data mining. And we've designed this deep dive specifically for you folks familiar with relational databases. You know those databases you work with every day. They are holding tons of hidden insights just waiting to be discovered.
That's right. And as businesses generate mountains of data, the ability to extract those meaningful insights is becoming so important. It's mission critical. And that is where data mining steps in.
Okay, so let's start with the basics then. What exactly is data mining and why should businesses care?
Well, imagine a detective sifting through clues to solve a case. Data mining is very similar. It's unearthing those valuable insights from vast amounts of data, but instead of a magnifying glass, we use powerful algorithms and computational techniques. And it helps businesses make smarter decisions, optimize their operations, and predict future trends.
So it almost sounds like predicting the future based on data from the past. Can you give me an example of how this might work in the real world?
Absolutely. Let's say you are an e-commerce company with millions of customer transactions. Data mining can help you identify the patterns in buying behavior. You might discover that customers who buy a certain type of smartphone are also very likely to buy a screen protector and a specific brand of headphones within the first month of their purchase.
That's really interesting. So using the past to predict the future needs of a customer.
Exactly. And that's super valuable for businesses. Using that information, you can proactively recommend those accessories to new smartphone buyers. This increases sales and customer satisfaction.
That makes sense. Now, before we go on, can we clarify something? I always hear the terms data, information, and knowledge used almost like they are the same thing, but I think in data mining, they have distinct meanings.
Right. You are totally right. Understanding the difference between those three is crucial. Think of it this way. Data is the raw, unprocessed input, just like the individual ingredients for a recipe. In our e-commerce example, this would be like product IDs, prices, customer demographics, purchase dates, and so on.
Okay, so that's the data, the building blocks. What about information then?
Information is where we start to add context and meaning to the data. It's like the recipe itself. It tells you how to combine the ingredients. So in our example, information might be recognizing that smartphone buyers tend to purchase certain accessories together.
Okay, so the information helps us see the patterns and connections. And finally, what about knowledge?
Knowledge is applying that information to understand the why behind those patterns and using it to make decisions. This is where the chef's experience comes in, knowing how to adjust the recipe based on the ingredients and what they are hoping to make. In our e-commerce example, knowledge would be using the information about accessory purchases to recommend the right products to the right customers at the right time.
So data mining is what helps us to go from raw data to actionable knowledge.
Exactly. And within data mining, there are specific tasks that help us extract different types of insights. We have association, rule learning, clustering, and classification.
Okay, so let's start with association rule learning. What is that all about?
Well, association rule learning is kind of like uncovering if this then that relationships. It helps us understand the connections between different events or attributes. Remember our e-commerce example. Association rule learning is how we discover that if a customer buys a smartphone, then they're likely to also buy a screen protector and headphones.
So it's going beyond just what people buy together. It is uncovering the rules behind those purchases.
Yeah, exactly. And these rules can be incredibly valuable for businesses. For example, e-commerce companies can use this information to suggest relevant product bundles, optimize product placement in their online store, or even personalize marketing campaigns to target specific customer segments.
It's amazing how these seemingly unrelated items can be linked through data analysis. Now, what about the next one? Clustering. What can you tell us about that?
Clustering is about grouping similar data points together based on their characteristics. Think of it like organizing your wardrobe. You put all your shirts together, pants together, and shoes together based on their similarities.
So basically, we're finding natural groupings within a data set based on shared characteristics.
Exactly. And this has many applications in business. For example, in marketing, clustering can help segment customers into different groups based on buying habits, demographics, or preferences.
I see. So instead of treating all customers the same, you can create targeted campaigns that are going to be much more effective.
Precisely. By understanding those distinct characteristics of each cluster, businesses can personalize their marketing messages, product recommendations, and even customer service interactions. This leads to higher engagement, customer satisfaction, and better outcomes for the business.
Okay, so clustering is helping us to make sense of large data sets by grouping similar items together. Now, what about classification? How does that work?
So think of classification like sorting your emails. You have folders for work, personal, and spam, and you assign those incoming emails to the appropriate category based on what they're about. Classification in data mining is really similar. It's assigning data to predefined categories based on patterns learned from historical data.
So you were teaching a machine to recognize patterns and make predictions based on what it's learned.
Yeah, you got it. Financial institutions use classification a lot to detect fraudulent transactions. They train a model on historical data of legitimate and fraudulent transactions, and this allows them to flag transactions that exhibit suspicious patterns.
That's really interesting. So data mining has applications across industries and departments.
You said it. We've only just begun to explore its potential. From optimizing supply chains to predicting customer churn, the possibilities are really endless. As businesses continue to generate more and more data, the ability to extract meaningful insights through data mining will be even more crucial for their success.
It's not just about crunching numbers. It's about turning data into knowledge that we can use, making smarter decisions, and gaining a competitive edge. If you're enjoying this deep dive into data mining, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the deep dive for more insightful explorations of the world of data and technology. We'll be back shortly to continue our exploration of data mining and delve into some of the practical aspects of implementing these techniques.
It can really revolutionize the way businesses operate, but it's not just about having the right data. It's about applying the right techniques effectively.
Right. We've talked about the what and the why of data mining, but what about the how? I mean, it sounds like it can be pretty complicated.
Yeah, definitely. Data mining involves complex algorithms and requires a good amount of computational power to analyze those huge data sets. But we don't need to get into all those technical details today.
That's a relief. But I'm curious about the process. Where do you begin when you are faced with so much data? What's the first step?
The most important first step is defining the problem you're trying to solve. What are you hoping to learn from all this data? What questions are you trying to answer? Once you have that clear objective in mind, then you can start to gather and prepare the data.
So you don't just put all the data you have into a giant algorithm. You need a strategy.
Absolutely. You need to be very selective about the data you use, and that data often needs to be cleaned and transformed before it can be analyzed. Think of it like preparing ingredients before you cook. You wouldn't just toss everything into a pot without washing and chopping and measuring.
Makes sense. After all, the saying goes, garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. The quality of your insights depends heavily on the quality of your data. So once the data is prepared, you can choose the right data mining techniques for that problem. That's where association rule learning, clustering, and classification come in. Well, those and many other methods.
It's like having a toolbox full of different tools, and you choose the right one for the job at hand.
Exactly, and each one has its strengths and weaknesses. The choice really depends on the nature of the data and the insights you are looking for. And then once you've applied the chosen techniques, you evaluate the results and refine the models until you get good accuracy and meaningful insights.
So it's a process that you go through over and over again, tweaking and improving the models based on the feedback you are getting.
Yeah, it is. Data mining isn't a one-and-done task. It requires that ongoing experimentation and refinement to make sure the models are up to date and giving you valuable insights.
So what happens when you get those insights? How do you actually put them into action within a business?
Well, that's where the real magic happens. Data mining insights can help you make all sorts of business decisions, from marketing and sales strategies to operations and product development.
Can you give me a specific example?
Sure. Let's go back to our e-commerce company. Let's say they've used data mining and identified a group of customers who are highly likely to buy a new laptop in the next 3 months. They can then use that information to create a really targeted marketing campaign, offering special discounts or highlighting features that appeal to their specific needs and preferences.
So instead of sending out the same marketing emails to everyone, they can create personalized messages that are more likely to resonate with each customer.
Exactly. Data mining enables precision targeting. This not only increases the chances of conversion, but it also maximizes marketing ROI.
What about applications beyond marketing? How can data mining be used in other areas of a business?
Oh, data mining has a really wide range of applications. For example, it can help companies optimize their supply chains by predicting future demand, identify potential bottlenecks, and improve delivery times. It can even be used to predict equipment failures, which lets companies perform preventative maintenance and minimize downtime. And in customer service, data mining can help personalize customer experiences, identifying individual preferences and tailoring interactions accordingly.
It sounds like data mining is all about using data to work smarter, not harder, and making informed decisions across the business.
Precisely. In today's data-driven world, Businesses that use data mining have a huge competitive advantage. They can anticipate market trends, respond to changing customer needs, and optimize their operations for maximum efficiency and profitability.
I'm starting to see that. But with all this talk about algorithms and data analysis, it's easy to forget about the human element.
You are right. Data mining is a powerful tool, but it doesn't replace human judgment and intuition. Those insights that we get from data mining should always be interpreted and applied in the context of business expertise and experience.
So it's like a collaboration between human intelligence and machine intelligence.
Exactly. The most successful data mining initiatives involve data scientists who understand all the technical aspects and business leaders who understand the business implications. They work together to translate those insights into action.
It's amazing to see how this field is bringing together technology and business strategy. But like any powerful tool, data mining also comes with responsibilities, right?
Absolutely. Data privacy is of huge importance in data mining. Businesses have to be transparent about how they collect and use data. They have to make sure they are respecting customer privacy and complying with all the relevant regulations. It's about using data responsibly and ethically, not just for profit, but for the benefit of customers and society as a whole.
That's a great point. We've talked about the benefits of data mining, but what about some of the challenges? What are some of the challenges that businesses face when they implement data mining initiatives?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is the sheer volume and complexity of data that businesses are generating these days. It can be tough to manage and analyze all that information effectively.
That's like drinking from a fire hose.
Yeah, exactly. You need the right infrastructure, the right tools, and the right expertise to handle all that data. And then there's data quality. If the data is incomplete, inaccurate, or inconsistent, the insights you get from data mining will be flawed. Remember, garbage in, garbage out.
Right, so data cleansing and preparation are really important steps in the data mining process.
Absolutely. And another challenge is finding and keeping those skilled data scientists. It's a highly specialized field, and there's a lot of competition for talent.
It sounds like data mining is a big investment. It requires resources, expertise, and a long-term vision.
It does. But the potential rewards are huge. Businesses that invest in data mining are setting themselves up for success in the data-driven economy.
I'm convinced. But before we wrap up this section, I have one last question. We've talked about the what, the why, and the how of data mining. But what about the what's next? What are some of the emerging trends and future directions in this field?
That's a great question. Data mining is constantly evolving, with new techniques and applications emerging all the time. One of the most exciting trends is the rise of artificial intelligence and machine learning. These technologies are enabling more sophisticated data mining techniques, automating tasks, and uncovering insights that were previously hidden.
So these advancements are really taking data mining to a whole new level.
Definitely. We're moving beyond simply analyzing data to actually predicting the future and making decisions based on those predictions.
That sounds both really exciting and a little bit scary.
It is. But it's important to remember that these technologies are just tools. They can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us as humans to guide their development and make sure they're used ethically and responsibly.
Right. Data mining is a game changer, but it's not a silver bullet. We need to harness its power wisely and shape the future we want to see.
Absolutely. Data mining is a journey, not a destination. It's a journey we need to take together with a shared understanding of the opportunities, challenges, and responsibilities involved. Now, if you're finding this deep dive into data mining helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the deep dive for more explorations into the fascinating world of data and technology.
Data mining has immense potential to reshape businesses and industries. It's been really fascinating to explore these core concepts and just the power it holds.
Yeah, it really is a field that's constantly evolving. But before we wrap things up, there's one more aspect of data mining that I want to talk about, and that's data visualization. After all those brilliant insights are useless if you can't actually communicate them effectively.
That's a great point. Data visualization seems like a natural extension of data mining. How does it help us make sense of those patterns and trends?
Data visualization is about transforming complex data into visuals that are clear and compelling. Things like charts, graphs, and dashboards. It tells a story and makes the insights accessible to everyone, even those who aren't data scientists.
So it's more than just making pretty pictures with data.
Oh yeah, much more. Effective data visualization is about choosing the right visual elements that accurately and intuitively represent the data. If you are trying to show trends over time, a line chart might be best. Or if you are comparing different categories, maybe a bar chart would be more suitable. It's all about highlighting the key insights in a way that's easy to grasp and understand.
So it's kind of like its own skill,
Yeah.
blending data expertise with creativity.
You could say that. Data visualization requires technical skills and creative thinking. A visualization that's well-designed can highlight the key takeaways and even spark those aha moments that lead to action.
So it's like a bridge between the analysis and the decision-making process.
Yeah, exactly. By presenting data in a way that's visually compelling, we can help business leaders understand complex concepts, identify opportunities, and ultimately make better decisions based on data.
Instead of just gut feeling.
Right.
In a world that's so full of information, being able to communicate data clearly and effectively is really important.
It is. Data visualization lets us tell the story that's hidden in the data. It makes it more engaging, more memorable, and more impactful.
I think this has been a really great deep dive into data mining. We've covered those fundamental concepts, explored the real-world applications, talked about ethical considerations, and even touched on those future trends that are shaping the field.
It's been great being here and sharing these insights with you and our listeners. I hope everyone has gotten a better understanding of data mining and its potential to really change businesses and the world around us.
I think so. To all of our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey. If you like this deep dive into data mining, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the deep dive for more. We love exploring the world of data and technology, and until next time, keep on mining those insights.